Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Wherever you're watching from in the world, welcome to the Poetry News with your hosts, Squigs, Eddie, myself, and our wonderful new herald, R Sen. How's everyone doing today? Are you well?
Excellent. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
All good.
In fact, I have a little joke for you to start today's show, poetry-related joke.
Oh,
Why couldn't Shakespeare get a drink in his local pub?
why not?
Because he was barred. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. We have lots of poetry news coming up on the show for you today, and I promise no more jokes like that. And we begin today with animals, because sometimes you might find yourself writing a poem about an animal, maybe your pet. And if so, then Honey Guide magazine might be for you. Honey Guide is a magazine full of fiction, non-fiction, art and poetry all about animals. Taken from their website, they say they are looking for poems that examine the connection between animals and humans and the ways we and our lives are more similar than people assume. They also say we do not accept cliche animal narratives, easy fixes, and pieces with sweet, happy endings. Submissions are free and open until the 4th of October 2021. They also suggest that you keep your poem to a maximum of 20 lines long. Now, if this has made your ears prick up like your friend's dog who has just smelt treats in your backpack, then head over to honeyguidemag.com. At this point, I'd like to bring back my heralds, R Sen, Eddie, and Squigs, and ask them, are you animal people? Do you write animal poems? Does this take your fancy?
Yes, I love animals. I'm obsessed. I have like a very, very unhealthy, probably need rehab obsession with my dog. So this is my opportunity to finally write that poem for him. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, so do I. I have a dog and a cat, and it's just amazing. I love animals, but I never thought actually of writing a poem about animals. I don't know why, but what I like most about the submission criteria is that they don't accept poems with or pieces with happy endings, and it is pretty interesting because usually we associate animals with happy endings or with this positivity. So it is pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah, I think animal poetry is a great opportunity to expand the perspective of it's being human. I mean, if you think about it, you say you can attribute an animal with human emotion, but then that is to say that all emotion is actually human because otherwise it would be beyond our comprehension. I also like stuffed animals, stuffies. So yeah, animal lover as well.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't trust people who don't like at least some animals, but it's absolutely true, isn't it? It gives you that perspective that you might perhaps not write from previously, and I think it's a really interesting opportunity. So I'm glad it sounds good. So yeah, you have until the 4th of October to get your poems in, and all the details for everything will be in the link in the details below. So we will be back right after this word from our sponsors.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Eddie, and I'm joining you from Batoon, a beautiful town in the north of Lebanon. Actually, I am going to stay with the theme of animals and writing about animals because this week's workshop will focus on that as well. The title of this workshop is Animal Magic, Writing Poems Inspired by All Things Animal. This all-day workshop takes place on Sunday, October 3rd, so just one day before the submission date to the submission that Martin talked about, from 9 a.m. GMT till 3:30 p.m. GMT. So it is an all-day, 5.5 hour workshop, and it is hosted by Scottish poet Angela Cleland. In this workshop, you'll take a look at poetry written about, addressed to, and from the perspective of animals, and experiment with how allowing the animal into your poem can help you approach your preoccupations in a new way. This workshop is only limited to 10 spaces to ensure that everyone has a chance to share some of what they've written if they wish to do so. There will be two 15-minute breaks and a 1-hour lunch break during the workshop period. So to recap, this workshop will take place on Sunday, October 3rd from 9 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. GMT. So let's bring back all our heralds and talk more about animals, because why not?
Oh yeah, we're on theme so far.
Right?
Does a human being count as an animal? Because my article is going to be about human beings. Anyway.
Mine is going to be off topic. So there we go.
So I think that this workshop's timing is perfect for the submission date, because it's just one day before. If you just want to do it, that would be cool. Like, what about your thoughts on writing on animals, or from the perspective of an animal? What are your thoughts?
I wrote a piece from the perspective of an animal, a predator taking momentary repose to celebrate, worship internally the prey they're about to engage with. And I think it's almost like an easy cliche you think of animals in that way, and almost like a sexualized nature. But anyway, anybody else?
All right. First of all, these two workshops is exactly what PGN is about, right? That's what we do. We hook people up, we set people up for success, and boom, this is how you do it. But I actually haven't ever written. I'm lying when I say I haven't actually ever written. I haven't actually ever written a good poem on animals before, but I love the idea, because animals can actually signify so much. Because, like, snakes are interpreted as evil or sneaky, and they're often symbolized like that. But they're also so pure. So there's such a duality to animals, and it's always something that should be written more about. They're poetic in themselves,
Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's it opens up such a wide range of possibilities, because once you start thinking about what the animal might be thinking, we're driven by the same basic urges. For example, things like hunger, thirst, mating, that kind of thing. And most animals are fundamentally driven by those same ideas. They just show and process it a little bit differently. And once you start getting into the mindset of that, we've all talk to our pets or other people's pets at certain points as if we understand what they're thinking and things like that. And you could, for example, humanize a snake, or write a poem about a bear that everyone's scared of, but secretly the bear just wants to be loved, or something like that. There's so much potential there. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, so do I. So we are going to continue with R Sen, but first we're going to stop for a short break, and then we'll continue.
Today, for you guys, I bring you an introduction to myself, really. As you guys probably know, if you know anything about me, I am actually a virtual performer. I came up during the pandemic. I used to write when I was 16, and then I went public with it right before the pandemic. And I like to joke around and say that I'm the reason why I was so good in my first performance. That's why everything shut down. But no, that's not the case. I just went public with it because it was time. And one of the most significant events that I have ever done that I want to share with you is the Nuyorican online open mics. The Nuyorican is a New York staple. Any poet that you can think of that has stepped into New York has performed at the Nuyorican, because they are legends. They embrace the Hispanic culture, they embrace the poetic culture, and they continue to celebrate it even throughout the pandemic, and now as we continue on with our lives and whatever new normal is. And they bring you an online virtual mic every Monday and Thursday. Mondays are specifically for poetry, and they have a theme usually. And Thursdays are online open mic for any kind of performer. And they're really, really interesting. And they come on in the evenings here at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And yeah, I would love to hear from my lovely heralds to see what they think about this kind of platform and story.
I absolutely love Nuyorican. I've only been a few times because it's really sort of middle of the night for me, but it's always been a fantastic night when I've actually got there. I know it's very difficult to actually get a spot because the tickets, I think their record is something like 41 seconds for selling out the open mic, but that shows the quality of it and it shows how good the mic is. But even if you come along to just watch, I think you can also catch a lot of the past shows online on their Facebook page, and it's just it's one of the best poetry nights you'll ever see. And I would encourage anyone to go along. You know, just get your laptop on from anywhere in the world, and there you are.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great way to get, like, if you're really looking to get your name out there and like start your poetry career as a performer, this is the platform to do it in. I mean, honestly, but you have to be on Sunday night for the Monday night performances at like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the dot, because it will sell out by 8:01. Everything will be gone. So,
But regardless, you know what? It's still a good show. I have sat in a couple times, and I love how the host, you know, after every performance, like, oh, unmute your mic and show love, and it's just a cacophony of cheers. It's a good time, regardless. You know, make that list. You know, it's great to watch and support other poets.
I agree. Like, I am also a published author, and honestly, a lot of the ideas I got from my book were inspired by the poets that came onto this show, and so like, it's just a great way to like get in there and do your thing. So now, thank you guys so much for this beautiful discussion. I know it's like it's a cool event, and again, definitely everyone should go check it out. And now, after this lovely break, let's go on over to Squigs.
Good day, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Squigs. I'm reporting for the Poetry News from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And today I'm reporting on the 2021 National Book Awards long list for poetry. Now, an article from the New Yorker, which reads, with an opening about one of the poets recognized in previous listings, Forrest Gander, and in their poem, Post Fire Forest, published last spring in the New Yorker, where the speaker tries and fails to find the right word for what he sees while walking through the ruins of a scorched wood. And the poem reads, all that moves is mist lifting, too indistinct to be called ghostly. But the wasteland itself seems to speak with an inalienable clarity, shorn with insincerity or irrelevance. Continues as, what remains of the forest takes place. In the exclamatory mode, he writes, continuing on, cindered utterances in a tongue from which everything trivial has been violatized, everything trivial to fire. The human observer struggles to match the lucidity of the crisis. Now, Post-Fire Forest appears in the collection Twice Alive, which has been long listed for this year's National Book Award in poetry. Twice Alive is one of several contenders that document the human dimension of environmental and global catastrophe. Jackie Wang's The Sunflower Cast a Spell to Save Us from the Void, inspired by the author's dreams, considered how crisis and trauma can infiltrate the subconscious as well. Martin Espada's Floaters decries governmental neglect of Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria and the cruelty faced by migrants in Latin America. Now, the list was drawn from a total of 290 submissions from publishers. Gander is the only nominee who has been previously recognized by the National Book Awards. The other 9 contenders are being honored for the first time, and the list is as follows. There's Thea Al-Montasser for The Wild Fox of Yemen, Grey Wolf Press. Baba Baji, Ghost Letters, Parlor Press. Desiree C. Bailey, What Noise Against the Cane, Yale University Press. C.M. Burroughs for Master Suffering, Tupelo Press. And Andres Serpa, The Vault, by Alice James Books, Martin Espada, Floaters, for W. Norton and Company, Forrest Gander, Twice Alive, from New Directions, Douglas Kearney, Show, Wave Books, Ho Nguyen, A Thousand Times You Lose Your Treasure, Wave Books as well, and Jackie Wang, The Sunflower Cast a Spell to Save Us from the Void, Night Boat Books. The judges for this category are A. Van Jordan, professor of Helen Zell's Writers Program at the University of Michigan and the author of several poetry collections, including Rise. As well, Dawn Mi Choi, whose books DMZ Colony won the 2020 National Book Award for Poetry, and Natalie Diaz, the author of When My Brothers Was an Aztec and Post-Colonial Love Poem. Matea Harvey, the author of 5 books of poetry, including Modern Life, and Ilya Kaminsky, author of Deaf Republic. And as well, Ilya Kaminsky had been on the panel for judging the Griffin Poetry Prize of this year as well. Great to see familiar names again in our news stories. And so the National Book Awards, big title, big name. I'd like to welcome back my Heralds and speak about our experiences with other awards or events such that we've submitted to and our experiences of which. Sentence. Question mark.
I'll start this off. I mean, awards, I have like a weird thing with awards. I think it's good to give people recognition. But like, I mean, it's good to recognize people for what they do. We're all skilled in what we do. But I also, as a newbie, right? I'm the noob, right? I feel like sometimes those things can kind of like stop you from wanting to do what you want to do creatively as well. So I have a weird stance with it in that like I love supporting and encouraging people. So like I don't want to feel like I'm saying that no, they shouldn't exist. But I also feel like the platforms can be used to motivate people more. I don't know. Does that make sense?
You like to write, but you don't like the pressure.
Yes, that's it. Is that lazy? Is that lazy? Is that a lazy thing?
No. You're doing it for yourself. Writing, poetry expressions for yourself. It's difficult to, make a work out of it. Yeah.
I can really feel what you're saying on that, R Sen, because I'm a bit like you. I've got a bit of a thing with awards as well, and I mean, for me, I've got a slightly hypocritical position because if me or my book had an award, I would totally shout about it. But at the same time, I don't see an award as having a bearing on whether I'd want to read something in that sense. I mean, there is a degree of correlation between people receiving awards and the quality of people, but I think you do have to be careful about which award you're looking at. I mean, certainly there are some awards that are very, I don't want to use the word establishment, but there are some awards that are quite self-congratulatory, and there are some awards that are genuinely really top awards that really go to lengths to recognize who the top writers really are. So I think, I don't know, it's slightly hypocritical because, like I say, if I have one, I'd totally shout about it. But
no, me too. I agree with you. I would too.
I hate awards until I win one.
yeah.
Because like getting one also is like, yeah, people like love my stuff and it's encouraging too, right?
Yes.
It's like a double-ended sword kind of thing for me.
Yeah. What do you think, Eddie?
I have no idea what to say, honestly. I don't think I hate awards. I like awards and what they represent. However, like you guys said, like I'm not a fan until I win something. But no, let's be serious.
Have you ever submitted for an award?
No, I haven't. Where I live, it is very difficult to try to submit or to publish or to do anything with that manner. Not many publishing houses in Lebanon publish poetry because it doesn't sell in this community here. And if I were to publish something, it would be self-publishing, which also has its issues and all of that. Plus now with the economic turmoil here, it's not really easy to pay money. So the whole award thing is still something that is alien for me. So I don't really know much about whether I don't want. Do I feel like this is something I would apply to? Maybe when I'm a bit older, because I still don't want to publish at such a young age. So it's still up in the air. Everything is just up in the air.
That's very interesting. We seem to have varying degrees, though somewhat similar ideas, apprehension towards awards. Though they are out there and they're reporting on it, and it's a big deal. Yeah. Actually, I got a funny story. I don't typically submit. I'm also, for the world, I'm kind of a fledgling-esque writer, but I submitted once for a local magazine, which is a national magazine. I won't say the name, very fire. But yeah, it was the theme was about love, and I didn't get accepted. But what really caught me was their response saying that they were no longer accepting old white man love poems. I'm like, really? Like, my name is my name is not like my name's not Squigs, but it's quite ethnic anyways. And it's like, really? Like old white guy poetry. Yeah, it's like, what do you mean old white guy poetry? Like maybe okay, sure. Maybe next time I'll submit in person. How about that?
That's the other thing. It's like, I don't know. To some degree. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Someone was saying.
Oh, no, you're saying it's another thing. It's like a personality game, right?
Yeah. To some degree, I feel like it's like also a popularity contest. To some
right.
Degree. Yeah. Like, the more clout you have, the more likely chance you are getting published, which is like so stupid because there's so many talented people that don't get enough highlight, and they're the ones who need the clout. You should be like highlighting them.
Right.
I think it's I think part of the reason why, because I mean, in that list of awards, you listed some amazing poets. Just looking for the names I wrote down. It's like people like Ilya Kaminsky and Martin and Eddye. Listed some really amazing poets. Part of the reason they're that good is because they've had the opportunity to become that good, which means that a lot of doors have been opened. And I guess it's like, how do you get to the point where you get those doors to open? I don't want that to take anything away from the quality of these poets, because they're absolutely fantastic. But I think awards can sometimes deny others from that opportunity, because the nature of somebody winning is that somebody else doesn't.
So I think that'll be all for this week. The Poetry News. Martin, you have closing statements for us?
Absolutely. So thank you everybody for taking the time to watch today. We hope you've got some interesting events and submission opportunities. And we would also love to point you in the direction of the other shows here at PGN. We have the Poets Lighthouse that comes out every Sunday. We have the Poets Reacts, which comes out twice a week. Poets reacting to things that they've got no idea what's coming. It's really good. We go out once a week as well. We've got loads of content on Instagram. We've got open mics and events coming your way soon. So please do keep an eye on all of our socials and let us know what you think. And Eddie, you are here to tell us about those socials.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And follow us on Instagram at the PGN Official, on Facebook as well. And if you want anything, please send us an email at thepoetryglobalnetwork@gmail.com. Please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, comment whatever you want. Have you been interested in writing about animals? What are your thoughts on some of the open mics we talk about? And what are your thoughts on awards? That is all we have for you today. Thank you, Squigs. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, R Sen. And we will see you next week.